know what I'm doing. Okay. Hey, Jason, can you hear me? Okay. Am I heard? Am I being heard? Oh. Oh, good. Okay, so I'll let Frank finish his treat. So, oh, technology. Okay. You clean up your bed. All right. So, all right, we're back. I I talked for so long because I was, like, up reading the question, so I didn't see, like, the flood of, like, "You can't hear me," so I'm sorry about that. I remember what I was talking about, though. But the thing is I was using this, like, DJI mic that I have, and I should have known right away when my computer was like, "Oh, the whatever was ejected without being properly done." And so I should have known then that the sound wasn't on, but I don't know why it just automatically ejected it. So I guess we won't use that in the future. And I don't actually know if you're hearing me through the microphone on my camera or if you're hearing me through the microphone on my computer. Um, so that's why I had used that other mic because I thought it would make it sound better. So, anyways, I spent a long time answering a question about like how if the trip changed me or anything like that, if it had like a, I can't remember the wording, but yeah, if basically like if it had a big impact on me or my life, and I would say definitely yes. It kind of felt like the whole trip was like this portal into like a new version of myself, which sounds kind of woo-woo, but that's like as I was experiencing it, it felt like there was a real transformation happening when I was above the Arctic Circle. A lot of that was like creatively. So I got a lot of inspiration from the landscape there and a lot of like just being able to think deeper into myself, I guess, and made me realize I want to uh like the way I tell stories right now isn't exactly the way I want to tell them. I have like some growth and like learning things I want to like learn and build to get better at articulating. So since the Dempster, I've actually filmed 2 slightly experimental videos and then started to edit them and then scrap them, and they'll never see the light of day, but so I'm trying, so there's, like, these growing pains to, like, kinda, like, become a different creator, and then also falling in love with the Arctic made me feel really inspired to travel to, like, Norway and Sweden someday, as well as to see more parts of the Canadian Arctic, which, there's no roads. So I either need like money for like planes and stuff, or I need to learn how to canoe and to get like a great canoeing partner so I can go canoeing for months. So like that is something I'd really love to do. And that kind of like all came from my time in the Arctic. And I also, yeah, got like inspired to like start writing. So I've been writing a bit more. But yeah, uh, it was great, and I mean, I would go again on the Dempster, but I would do it, I think, in the autumn the next time just to see it, in a different way. So, yeah. Yeah, it was great. So, yeah, so sorry about that, the sound thing. You just missed out on Frank's crunching for the most part. Yeah, so there's just lots of crunching from Frank's treats, but he got a lot of treats because of that little technical error, so, yeah, I don't know, like, I'll probably leave that part up, but, yeah, anyways, I've had some comments about this shirt. This is something the company I order my stickers from, they just had, like, one day, it was like, "Try our shirts for $10," so I just got this shirt for myself, um, and I have been asked about merch for years, and I just cannot find a company that, like, I'm willing to use either because I hear too often they have bad customer service or it's really slow, or, like, I found a company that I kinda like, but then they charge shipping on every individual item, which, like, just makes it kind of expensive unless I'm doing it at, like, no financial gain to me because, like, the cost of like, producing on demand, the cost of them producing and shipping one item, like, isn't exactly low, so, like, the most profitable way to do it for me to have a warehouse and to have, like to ship it myself, but like I can't do that in the van. So anyways, that's why I sell stickers and postcard sets, because I can ship them from the van, and I do, which is really fun. And then unfortunately did that sticker sale. I shipped them all from Tuck because I was so excited for people to get the stamp that said Tuck post office, and then they didn't stamp them. So yes, that was unfortunate. They're probably like, this is too much work. Oh, Flossie, tell us about food prep for such a long trip. So, yeah, I'm really glad that I bought as much produce as I did, and I had very, very, very little spoilage, maybe only like less than 5, which was totally worth it to have as much as I did because there wasn't a huge selection up there, and what there was pricey. So it would have cost me a lot more to try to buy produce up there than the food I lost in a minor amount of spoilage. And that's just keeping things in the dark, keeping them in the coolest place in the van, keeping different vegetables away from each other, like onions don't like most things don't like to hang out right next to an onion. And then everything goes in paper bags, nothing goes in plastic. And then what happens is like things like peppers and zucchinis and stuff, they just slowly start to like get wrinkly and dry out, but they're still fine. Like you can still fry them or soup, they're really good. But if they're in plastic, they just go bad so fast. Like same with cauliflower. Like if you just open it up, take it out of its little wrap, and it'll just last better. And just yeah, airflow, dark, cool, paper bags, everything lasts a really long time. And I already had tons of dried goods. I stocked up more than even I needed to because I had so much food in my van. Like I could have bought nothing and gone up and just lived off the food in my van, but I just wouldn't have had any fresh food. So I'm glad I stocked up the way I did. And now I'm trying to kind of lower the volume of stores I have in my van because like I keep buying things like Starlink and stuff that just takes up space. So I just need to make some space. So yeah, maybe I don't need 5 or 6 months worth of dried food in my van. So Live Life Lori asks, not Dempster related, but would you consider facilitating a foraging teaching day on Vancouver Island next summer? Ooh, I have no idea where I will be, but actually in the past I did do like a berry picking day. I like just gathered a bunch of random people, put up like posters, and we went out and berry picking. And so I've done stuff like that, and I would be interested in it, but yeah, it just like depends where I am, and it's yeah, I have trouble planning things. Like I don't want to plan and commit to being somewhere next summer because I don't even know where I will be in October. I have no idea. I have no idea. So yeah, so hello to everyone who's just joining, and yeah, thank you to everyone who came over from the audio fail of the last one. Um yeah. And so Floss I see Floss says, "And the aurora?" Do you mean aurora borealis? That would be a great thing about going up north, when there's darker time. There'd be less mosquitoes, you'd have a higher chance of seeing the aurora borealis, but you're actually more likely to see the aurora borealis in southern and central Yukon than all the way up above the Arctic Circle, because like, the way the art goes, like the band when it gets like a good show will come like right through southern Yukon. So you're actually more likely to see it here than in Tuk, which yeah, it's pretty neat. I use I think it's called auroraforecast.com. I just keep an eye on that every day. And then I mean if it's clear, I keep my curtains open, I keep an eye out for it. But if it's cloudy, I'm trying to get back on a sleep schedule. So I've been going to sleep at like 2 a.m., which is really early. How do I keep rodents out of the van? Um, they just don't really have a way in. Like they can't get in through my air ducting system. They can't get in through any of the doors. So they have no way in as long as I keep the little foot vent closed. And then all my food is in like it's all in wooden boxes. So it's just my build. The way I built just happens to be mouse proof, and I don't have cutouts for like wiring or plumbing between cabinet sections, so they can't move around. I have left the foot vent open, they've gotten in, I've got them out. It just hasn't been a problem. So Yeah, I know I have friends in, like, Sprinter type vans that have a lot of problems with it. Do I ever bring MREs? No. I don't like that. It's a lot of packaging and they're expensive. I can eat better for a lot less by, um oh, I hope the Starlink is on. I can eat better for a lot less just buying dried food and, making my own meals. So, I hope we are still online. My phone disconnected from Starlink, but hopefully oh, good, my computer's being online. Oh, no, sound off. Audio again? Why? What? Why is the sound? Oh, it was 17 minutes ago. I just so, okay. Okay. I just got Flossie's text that the sound was off because my phone disconnected from Starlink. Oh, okay. Okay. Good, everyone can hear me, and Frank here. Look at this guy. Look at this. He wants in on this. He says, "Mom, if you're just gonna be talking to all those people I can't see, you better give me some more treats." You have a very acute nose, Frank. Your nose works very, 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 very good. Okay, yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the compliments on my videos. That means so much. I put a lot of intention into editing, and I'm always trying to improve. Um, I definitely don't try to make videos as fast as possible. I like to make something I'm proud of, and sometimes I try things and it's not the best, and sometimes I try things and I really like it. So, yeah, with the videos on Patreon, I make a lot of Ariel exclusive videos, so I play around there and try some different stuff sometimes. And it's also I just wing it. I just talk and wing it over the over the aerial footage, which helps me get more comfortable in front of the camera and just talking and stuff. So yeah. I use Final Cut Pro for editing. So yeah, I feel like I said a lot about Tuck Tuck Tuck. If anyone has other questions about the Dempster or the Arctic or things, I would love to answer those before we just completely go off topic um, into other worlds. Okay. What do I think is the best time to do the Dempster Highway? So I touched on this with the mosquitoes. The time I went is the most mosquitoes. If you go earlier, the road will be more likely to be wet and muddy. And if you go later, there'll be no mosquitoes, but it'll be getting cold. So you either pretty much have mosquitoes or you have cold. Um, there's not really like a time in between. So if you want autumn colors, you would have no mosquitoes. If you want midnight sun, you're gonna have mosquitoes. So this is kind of like personal preference. This summer was exceptionally dry. The fact that I spent 5 weeks on the Dempster and hardly had any rain is not normal. Um, yeah, so it was a really hot summer up here, hot, dry summer. So um, so I'm getting asked what kind of drone I use. So I have the DJI Mini 3 Pro, and that's what I filmed that bear with, out in the tundra. And that was something I didn't really talk about in the videos was bears. I might have talked about it when I was in northern BC in a video about fear, but um, people worry a lot about grizzlies and stuff on the Dempster. They are a lot more in Tombstone area than other parts of the Dempster. But also compared to, like, Southwest Yukon or, like, parts of coastal Alaska or parts of northern BC, it's actually way less grizzlies than some of those other places I just listed, and, like, British Columbia has something like 8 or 10 times more black bears per, like, 1,000 square kilometers. So you're maybe more likely to see bears because there's no trees hiding them. Like I saw that bear from, half a mile away. And so it's really easy to avoid them and stay safe. So we have reports of the audio not working correctly. But just one. So Oh, did I forage anything Arctic specific that I haven't tried before? No. I really wanted to eat cloudberries. I've never eaten cloudberries, and I hear great things about them, but I was too early. I would have had to be there about 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks after I finished the Dempster to have a chance at cloudberries, and then everything else I saw or picked or ate, I'd already had before because there's a huge overlap with the boreal forest. Yes, so are you gonna have a map of the places you've been to, or do you have one now? Oh, I've thought of getting a big map and then highlighting all the different routes, like maybe a different color each year, like through Western Canada and the US. I thought that'd be pretty interesting. I had an idea for a video coming up later that might involve a map of my travels throughout the Yukon. So, okay, it seems like the sound is mostly good. Cuppy, thank you. I think Cuppy, you're our new patron? I don't know. It's, my memory is not the best, but thank you. Were there many people traveling along the Dempster Highway when I went? Yes. I mean, yes and no. Like, if you're gonna go to the Canadian Rockies or Vancouver Island or Squamish, like, absolutely not. There was basically no one on the Dempster. But if I sat parked on the side of the road, for 24 hours, there'd probably be, like, 30? I'm just guessing, like, maybe 30 people drive by on average. Um, and, like, maybe a third of those this time of year would be, like, big shipping trucks, like, hauling, kicking up tons of dust. Um, but yeah, there is a lot of people in vans, truck campers, kinda like schools. So, yeah, there was a lot of people making and motorbikes and cyclists. There's people getting up there all the way, and I met actually a guy in Northern BC who had walked from Tuck down, pushing a chariot like Frank's. So, yeah, all types of vehicles, although I do hear from a lot of people who take kind of more RVs up that they kind of regret it or they don't recommend it, like, I don't think they're really built for that kind of rattling. Whereas, like, I built my van for back roads, so it did fine. I'm actually on a back road adventure right now, and one of my shells came down, so it's a lot rougher than the Dempster was. Um, I was driving and my whole coffee shelf just came crashing down into Frank's water dish. So, no issues like that on the Dempster. So, um have I ever thought about driving the top of the world highway into Alaska? So I drove it to the Alaska border, but I didn't enter Alaska. Um, yeah, so I just drove to the Alaska border and then actually hung out there. I didn't re I filmed an experimental video that didn't get published, and then it just became kind of like a reference in the video after, but it was really smoky. So, like, it wasn't a good time for filming. How was the paddling there? So I did not paddle at all on the Dempster or at the Arctic because when I was at the Arctic Ocean, pretty much every day it was extremely windy. And then the days it wasn't windy, I just didn't want to leave my camp spot and drive to a paddling launch. And then along the Dempster, there was just like way too many mosquitoes to like be out like that, or there wasn't really like, there's a lot of lakes, but there's no access, like, aside from bushwhacking, which I can't really do with Frank, so, but throughout the Yukon, especially more southern Yukon, there's, like, a ton of Great Lakes, really nice paddling, and a lot of river routes that I would love to do, but I kinda wanna have somebody with me, I think, if I'm gonna do, like, 5 or 10 or 20 days, like, down a river. I would do it on the sup, but it would just be nice to have a buddy for safety, keeping an eye out from, animals and stuff like that. So, um, do, do, do. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, somebody mentioned those sticker maps, like putting stickers on the outside of my van. I actually, when I painted my van, I de-emblemed it. Like, I took off the factory emblems and put body filler in the holes and painted over it so it's, like, smooth and took off, like, most of the original branding. Did I try incense for mosquitoes? No, and I will explain the mosquitoes. Like, they were bad, and I tried really hard in the videos to stress how bad they were, but, like, I don't actually think I did an appropriate job of, like, making it clear just how horrible they were. Like, they were so bad that sometimes the Thermacell had no effect because there was just so many, and it's like this horrible toxic chemical, like, it's so disgusting. I accidentally closed my door with it in the footwell, and I realized because my lips went numb from the Thermacell chemical. So that's how bad the mosquitoes were, that like, sometimes there was just so many and they were so ravenous that, like, they didn't even care about that, and even, like, I would spray, like, 1 bottle of, insect repellent would be for 2 hikes. I would use up the whole thing, and I would still end up with some bites, so it was pretty bad, and as soon as the mosquitoes ease off, the black flies get bad, so, um, so would a battery-operated fan be strong enough to blow them off? You would need a very strong fan because there's it's so windy up there, so they're, like, stronger than normal mosquitoes. They're like mutant powerlifting mosquitoes, and they train. So not like one of those USB rechargeable ones for sure. I have one and it was not gonna do anything. You would need, like, a big industrial sized fan to keep the mosquitoes away. Um, so I think most people have, like, roof vents or AC, and they can just go inside, and it's not a big deal. So, yeah, they were really bad. Yeah, blowtorch would definitely keep the mosquitoes away, but, I don't know, it might make more problems with your life. The thing is they just respawn, like, they respawn, like, they have infinite respawning. I don't know. So, yeah, it's just it's they were a lot. And yeah, and the thing is, like, even the animals, like caribou that live up there, like, they drive them mad. Like, the caribou will, like, rub off patches of skin because the mosquitoes, like, literally drive them insane, and the black flies. So, yeah, it's like a horrible thing for everybody. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. 38 pouring water down my face, cannot drink. So, yeah, head net goes a long way and just, yeah, keeping covered. So, yeah, the mosquitoes were like like I've experienced them that bad before mushroom picking, which was actually worse because we weren't allowed to wear insect repellent. But because I was able to make such good money picking mushrooms, like, I just focused on that and just, like, endured the biting, but yeah, it was no. Yeah, if you're, like, not really, really sensitive to bugs, then yeah, I would recommend avoiding mosquito time, and then also, if you have more allergens in your system, the mosquito bites are gonna be itchier, and then one thing is if you end up really itchy, just going in icy water for, like, a couple minutes will stop all the itch, they won't come back, so it kinda makes it like a clean slate for your body, so, yeah, that's I think I've said everything about mosquitoes, so, yeah. Um, yeah, it's that it was hard. It was really hard. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. So any other questions with the Dempster, the Arctic? A lot of people who go up to the Dempster, they just go up to Tombstone Park, so they kinda do, like, the first 200-ish kilometers. I think if you were to do the first, like, 220 kilometers and then turn back just for, like, mountains and scenery, like, that would be a good bang for your buck, if you just don't wanna do such a huge adventure, although it won't get you into the Arctic, but it is very scenic. No, this shirt is not for sale. I shouldn't have worn it today. Oh, how do you know where to park for the night? That's a great question. So there was stuff listed on Overlander, but there's, like, 10 times as much stuff that's not listed. Pretty much anywhere off the road that you can see to park, you can park. There's a lot of old gravel lots gravel pits because the road's made of gravel, so they just dig it up the whole way and built the road. So there's a few that had no trespassing signs, but yeah, just there's a lot that don't. So I stayed in a lot of gravel pits, and then there's like some big pullouts, and it's pretty quiet. Like at night, there's maybe a vehicle like less than one every hour, and it's not really busy. So I just kind of stayed like I was always within sight of the road. And there are some government campgrounds, which I spent one afternoon at, but there are some campgrounds along the way, both Yukon Territory campgrounds and Northwest Territory campgrounds. So you can pay to stay at those, and they have washrooms, and the ones in the Northwest Territories have showers. So I did stay at the campground in Inuvik because I didn't want to like stealth camp in town and just I don't like sleeping. I don't like parking where like just random people are walking and driving by. So I prefer just, yeah, like the side of a road, out of town or something like that. So check my text. Refocus the camera. Thanks, Flossie. I'm gonna leave my phone in front here so that if Flossie sends me a anyways. There we go. Now I'm in focus. Um, okay, so was my Aurora video time lapse real time? So it was sped up 4 times. So it just slightly sped up, and that was because I had to shoot at such a slow rate for the exposure that I needed to speed it up 4 times for it to play, like, pretty smooth. Um, did you find 24-hour daylight affected you physically now that you're back in day-night cycle? Um, it took a while to adjust. I'm still like, I've just in the past week gotten, like, sleepy at night, but it's still light out till after 9 PM. So it's like a week ago, it was light out till 10 PM. So in the fall here, the days get shorter really, really fast. So I kind of feel like I've just started to get back on my normal night owl schedule. So yeah, it took quite a while. I had over 2 months where like I didn't see darkness, and yeah, it got a little nutty. Everyone gets a little nutty, a little wired, and you just sleep when you get tired, you sleep, or like when the day is cooler. So um Tam's Country Life, thank you. Buy Frank a treat and me something yummy. Will do. We actually started this trip a day later than I wanted to because I had to wait for the treat store to open so Frank could stock up. Did I find it easy to level your van? Yes, I have 2 leveling blocks, and with that, like, it's been fine everywhere, and I have a pretty good tolerance for margin, so if I'm, like, on a slope a few degrees, I just angle it so that, like, the downhill is towards the wall and not off the bed, but yeah, with just, like, a couple blocks, it was really easy to get level out there, and yeah, like, easy to drive too. Like there was no like campsites I wanted to go to, but then it was like too rough to get in. There's also some spots like down where like river crossings, there'll often be like spots next to it also. So yeah, it was really easy. There was tons and tons of camping. And only like a couple like really, really prime spots where there'd be like multiple people parked, but even then like people are kind of spread out. So yeah, it was good. Um So was the Arctic Ocean super freezing to dip in? I mentioned this in the earlier live stream, but no, it was actually quite warm compared to glacier water. I think I saw a question how long something about crossing all the provinces. I've never gone like past the east side of the Rockies, like by car in Canada. So I have no idea. Longer than it takes to drive to Mexico. Would I ever travel to Ontario or Quebec? Yes, but probably on the way to like Newfoundland would be the destination. I don't want to go around cities. Ontario and Quebec have a lot of people. So I think, yeah, I would because I've never been, but it's not like a huge like desire. Flossie, what things do you take to take care of to take care of your health? Um, so if you have, like, prescription medication, I would definitely take, like, enough in case there's an emergency. On my way north, I saw several RVs being towed out on flat decks, which would be pretty expensive. And then there's like that takes time. It takes like days for the guy to get in. You have to find a way out. So I would definitely just be prepared for anything that like known conditions. I would be like extra prepared. I would have a buffer. And then I'm sure there's like a pharmacy in Nuvik, but if you have a tendency to get like heartburn or nausea or diarrhea or any of those types of things, then I would just like come prepared. I definitely got ibuprofen before going up just so I didn't have to worry about it and gone through that whole bottle. So yeah. Yeah, so Flossie's helping with questions. Um, yeah, so just trying to read some of these comments. Um, Flossie's asked, what tundra plants do you love? I don't really know the names of most of the tundra plants. Like the ones I knew were just like dwarf versions of the ones I'd seen in the boreal. Like the Labrador tea was just like really tiny compared to like down here. But there was like I think like the Arctic poppies were really nice. They were a unique plant I saw on the way northbound. Flowers, and so yeah, I didn't really spend time trying to like ID many of the plants, but they were nice. I'll say that. The flowers were really nice. So yeah. Okay. So let's give Frank one more treat and see if any other questions come in. And then I'm gonna have water off camera because I'm going to spill it on myself again. Frankie. Hi, I know you're sleeping, but do you want a treat? Do you want more treats? You can have another good one. Oh yeah, buddy. Okay. Let's get you in focus. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, you enjoy that. I'll read the chat for a moment. So I guess we'll know right now if I sound quieter than before, then maybe the audio is off my camera and not on my computer. Did I take a lot of pictures of all the beautiful flowers? Yes, I did. I took tons and tons, more than people will ever see. So, yeah. Ooh, Jennifer asks, "Oh, I sound louder now." Okay, well, I don't know. I just it's not a day for sound. Where is it? Jennifer asks, "Do you feel you stuck to a budget or was the prices more than you thought?" Gas was honestly cheaper than I was expecting, but that's because I was just expecting it to be like insane and it was just like moderately extra expensive and I didn't buy much food, so um like it was a quite a bit of money to stock up before. Like I probably spent like $700 on food before, but then I didn't really buy groceries for 5 weeks, so and the gas was like maybe only 30 to 40 cents a liter more than like down south. So I think I actually spent less money driving the Dempster than I do normally because normally I would like go into town, I would get a little takeout, I would go to Starbucks and there's like these little expenses that add up. And I just didn't have any of those on the Dempster. So I was just living off of the food I had already bought and it was like 1,750 kilometers, but it was in 5 weeks. So it's like less than half the national average for driving. So even though I went so far, I was driving less than the average commuter. So yeah, so it felt it felt like a good way to save money and have such a great trip. So yes. Do I do most of my shopping at Costco? No, I do most of it at grocery stores, but when I go past a Costco, I take the opportunity to um to stock up on stuff. So Dana asks, did any of the native folks up there speak of climate change or feel the effects yet? Take it off, Frank. Yeah, I mean, it kind of the one thing right away was that I was like really quickly informed that the ice had melted so much quicker, and so that affects the weather up there. That affects when the animals come. So the ice melting way sooner than normal has a huge effect on all the systems up there. And the highway going in also has affected like the water flow and the drainage of the landscape. So it's made more lakes, as well as there's been a big increase of beaver. So they're affecting the fish waterways and then also making more water. So there's like a lot of changes all happening. And yeah, they didn't really necessarily talk specifically about climate change. Nobody really wanted to talk really anything political either, which was actually kind of refreshing. But people seemed well aware that things are changing, and that's just kind of how things are. So it is definitely everything up there has to like travel a long ways, and like heating, like it's definitely not like the lightest footprint living in the north now because of the way they've been forced to settle. But yeah, it just, everyone lives differently depending on where they are, but they're definitely feeling disproportionate effects, like the fact that it was 30 degrees when the average high is only supposed to be 10 degrees, like to have it be that much above like the average high is pretty significant. So um yeah. Did you find your van was inundated with dust on the Dempster highway? Yes. So dusty. I cleaned so much dust. It got really, really bad. You definitely want well sealing back doors. It is horrible. How am I feeling? I'm improving. Things are getting better. So that last video was filmed actually a couple weeks before you saw it. I took a lot of time to myself. I had so much filmed that at the start of August, I edited all of it. So I actually went a whole month without editing. So it feels good to be back in editing. But yeah, I'm on another adventure. So I'm feeling better. I'm still feeling a little low on energy. I'm still always teetering on the edge of a bad headache. But I mean, it just is what it is. So I'm dealing with it. Um, yeah. What was my most favorite part of the tundra? Um, I guess the variety of, like, all the little plants, like, the ground is just extra pretty to me, and then, just being able to see so far, and then also knowing, like, from the Dempster, if I had just gone east, like, I could go thousands of kilometers without crossing a road. So just having that in mind was I found it really inspiring. It was a really, really neat thing. And even though there's all that space, it is not a solution to the Earth's population because it is inhabitable and it is harsh. And to try to build any communities up there would be extremely resource intensive. So it would be very, very counterproductive. It's just space that can exist for plants and animals. It doesn't need to be filled with people. So, yeah. Do. Oh, yeah, blew the van off the road was scary. That was so bad. Oh, that reminds me, I have a huge update. First of all, thank you, Jazzy Red. Thank you for that. Um, I went off the road. It was like $650. I had to pay out of pocket, but then after I phoned BCAA and I did all the paperwork, and a couple weeks ago I got refunded. So I ended up not having to pay for the tow. I had to just pay for it for like 2 months, and then I got my money back. So that was amazing. That is so so nice. And the fact that they like were able to send it to like the post office here for me was really, really good. So will I be coming back to Arizona? I don't know. I honestly I don't know. Like after Frank gets his like shot at the end of September, I don't know what I'm doing. I have tons of different trips planned that will exist sometime in the next 10 years of my life, but like when they'll happen or if they'll happen for sure, um, I don't actually know. And so, yeah, I don't even know like what I'm doing this winter. I'm totally on the fence. I have several different ideas for October. I'm on a big dirt road trip right now, and so in the past, like when I went on the Dempster, I thought, oh, by the time I'm done the Dempster, like I'll have an idea of what I want to do, and I didn't. So, I don't think I'll have an idea when I'm done this. It's just at some point, I'll get sick of being in the Yukon and I'll leave, or something will come up that will require me to leave. So, yeah, for now, I know I'm definitely here the rest of September, and I'm having a good time, and, like, today, I put on shorts and Frank went swimming. So, it was, like, 20 degrees, so it's just it just keeps being warm, but there's autumn colors. There's gonna be great autumn colors coming in the next few videos. What is my favorite go-to meal? Fried potatoes. Maybe with onion or mushroom, but just fried potatoes, I love them so much. Yeah, so, Jason, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that, and your being a patron is really nice, so, do you have to get Canadian insurance to come up here? No, I think you can just drive on your US insurance. Yeah, as far as I know, I don't get any extra insurance when I go to the US, and I live dangerously, and I don't even get travel insurance, although I think I have some through my credit card. But, um, was I afraid when I saw the grizzly up there? No, I got a little bit of, like, adrenaline rush, but I wasn't scared because I saw it at a distance, and I knew I had lots of time to respond if anything was going on. Like, I wasn't gonna just like, it wasn't a surprise, and because it was open, I could keep an eye on it with the drone. So I did, film it for a bit, landed the drone, packed up everything, put the drone back up, and then that way, if it like, I thought in case it comes up to the van and, like, it's, like, on the van, I could just drive away. So I wasn't scared at all, but I did get a rush from it. It was really exciting filming it. It was really a really cool experience. So, yeah. Um, oh, Blue says the Appalachians are spectacular. Yeah, I would like to I'm gonna hike the Appalachian Trail someday. I'll put that out there. Like that's how I wanna see the East Coast of the US. I don't think I'll ever drive to the East Coast of the US, but I'll take a train and then I will walk. Probably with my friend Justin because that's what he does. He just walks and makes music. Brayden, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks for being me. Thank you for being you. So, yeah, it's, everyone should know your favorite meal is fried potatoes. You know, lately I've been making those, like, carton ones that are, like, these ones. I've been making these ones because you just put boiling water in here and then you fry them. Oh, they're so good, and they're faster than chunk potatoes, but yeah. Um, yeah, so yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. This is fun. I get so nervous before these things, so incredibly nervous, and I'm always like dread if something goes wrong, and then stuff goes wrong. And like, this is the second time I've done a live stream and had to do like a part two. And like, yeah, some people leave and they don't come back, but I don't know. It's I don't these live streams don't get like as many views as a normal video does. It's just like for the fun of hanging out and answering some questions and also like just yeah, like learning to get more comfortable like with the spotlight on me because when I film stuff like for a video, sometimes I have thoughts like planned out and sometimes I have like a 30-second thought that then I just talk for 10 minutes and then I have to edit that, but like I get to edit it and like, there's just so much stuff. I sat on a mountaintop on the Dempster. I cut out 10 minutes of just things I was talking about because the video would have been way too long. So, I'm pretty comfortable talking in front of the camera now, especially when I'm editing. So this is good to like, you know, get used to when I'm not editing and and yeah, just like learn. So yeah. Um let's see. Okay. Yeah. I've influenced people to buy the carton potatoes. Well, then you can thank, my grandpa Dennis, who is still with us. He put me onto those, carton potatoes, and I've been eating them since. So, they're actually really good because, like, they're great to add to camp meals or something, or just, like, I put them in a soup, just buy, like, a carton of broth and a carton of those potatoes, and you just heat up the broth, and it's so easy. It's so because when it rains too, I don't cook outside, so I like it's not the healthiest, but I like to have stuff that's, quick inside cooking food, so yeah. Mike, how much of a mental recharge do you need to do after one of these live stream events? I am very excited. It's probably gonna rain tomorrow, and I'm just gonna I'm not even gonna drive tomorrow because I was actually really tired today. I had a big day on the road yesterday, so, I think it takes more out of me leading up to the event and, like, anticipating it and then having, like, all the nerves than actually doing it. The actual doing it, like, I can feel my throat's getting a little tired because I don't like, most of my life, I don't actually talk much. Like, when I hang out with friends, like, I hung out with a friend a couple weeks ago here in the Yukon, and my throat was so sore after hanging out with him from all the talking, and same when I hang out with Flossie, like, my throat ends up getting sore. But the rest of my life, when I'm not with friends, then the majority of my out loud talking is to you through the camera and then to Frank, which isn't much. So, yeah, these, these live streams, yeah, I'm gonna have a silent day tomorrow. Do I take vitamins? I like this is like Dempster, normal, cute, Dempster, yeah, I take some vitamins intermittently. I maybe, like, once every 3 days combined, I manage to take all my vitamins. I take, a lot of functional mushrooms, like multivitamin, iron, B vitamins, magnesium. I have a collection of things, and if possible, I get them in gummy form, and then I have candy for dessert, but it's my vitamin. That's Amanda's grown-up life hack, is take your vitamins in the form of candy. Oh, boy. Yeah, so, yeah, huge thank you to Dana and Flossie for helping out moderating this, and, yeah, just sharing all the links with everyone and just being here to, like, cheer on. So, I'm not able to actually read, like, I have it on slow mode, but I still am not able to read every single comment. I'm trying, I can go back after, but, yeah, yeah, um yeah, okay. Well, yeah, thank you, Shireen, for that you like to listen to me talk. I appreciate that. I feel like also my voice, my talking on camera voice has gotten, like, a little more chill over the years, but, I can get pretty intense in real life, especially, like, there's a lot of topics that I just don't talk about on my channel that I talk to with friends, and then I get, like, really intense, and I just don't have energy for those types of topics with so many people. Um, any good advice for starting a channel? Okay. My advice, like, when I started, what I did was I told myself that I cannot quit for 1 year, that I had to make regular videos, at least 1 video every week for a full year before I was allowed to quit, and I also had to, like, put energy and time into researching, learning skills, watching videos about editing, watching videos about storytelling, watching videos about, like, the YouTube algorithm and all that kinda stuff, and because it is really, really hard, and the vast majority of people never earn an income. So if, like, you're like me, your goal is to make this a paying career, then you need to just commit to a lot of work before you're allowed to give up, or you'll get discouraged before you get anywhere. And even now, like, I can pay for my life, but it's still like I still get discouraged because of the amount of work I've put in, and it's, like, very teetering on whether, like, the amount of hours and effort and, like, brain power I've put in is, like, really worth it, but I like it, and it's easier on my body than farm work, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not planning to quit YouTube, but, yeah, I just will say definitely, yeah, definitely just stick with it. Are you gonna get a new tattoo to commemorate this recent trip? Yes, I am. I'm gonna do, like, a little stick and poke myself on my thumb of, like, a sun with, like, 4 long and 4 short, so it'll be like a sun slash compass thing, just to, like, symbolize, like, all the light, and then also, like, the northbound trajectory. I've been meaning to do it for a few months since I was up there, and I just haven't got to it. I just haven't had, like, kind of the mental focus to do something like that, but that's what I'm gonna do, to commemorate the trip, and then when I'm driving, then I see it, always remind me, and just always, like, leading on the next adventure. So, okay, let's see where we are with the questions. Oh, I have some there's like oh, I missed a lot of questions, I'm sorry. Um, I see stuff about Flossie after is an adrenaline high? I don't even know what Flossie's talking about. Maybe Flossie's not talking to me. I see some astrology stuff. I've there's, like, these questions I feel like I just have to answer every 6 months because there's always new people, which is awesome. I am a Pisces sun, Aries moon, Scorpio rising, and very strong in my Scorpio traits, I would say. Um, yeah, so oh, there's the okay. Did you collect any herbal flowers for personal use? I just collected a bunch of coltsfoot and some rose petals, and then on the Dempster. I thought about collecting Labrador tea, but it just makes sense to pick it where it's bigger, like it's more time effective. Although now I kind of regret that and wish I had some Arctic Labrador tea. So, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I picked, and then soon I'll pick cranberries. I'm just waiting for it to freeze. So yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, I've never heard of container potatoes. Are they anything like refrigerated potatoes? No, they're dry. They're like yeah, you just pour boiling water into the container and they just hydrate, poof, like just a couple minutes and they're like you could just eat them like that. I have. They're pretty much instant dried potatoes, so they're really light. Like this container is 119 grams for Americans. That's 4.2 ounces, so it's quite light, and that would fill me up if I eat all that. Um, how difficult is it to find overnight parking in Alaska? I have never driven to Alaska. My first trip to the Yukon, I didn't have my passport with me. My second trip, I just couldn't afford to drive that far. And this trip, I decided I wanted to get a more thorough like relationship with the Yukon, and so I just chose before coming up here that I wasn't going to go into Alaska. I've considered going just down to Haines or Skagway for a couple days, but as a Canadian, I'm allowed 180 days per calendar year in the United States, up to excuse me, 180 days in a row. So right now, because I went south this winter, I'm not actually able to re-enter the United States until October 27th, which is just a great day. And for you Taylor Swift fans, it'll be an exciting day. So October 27th is the soonest day I can re-enter the United States and be able to stay through New Year's and not have to come back to Canada and then go back again in January. So any day I go into Alaska pushes that later. And so since I don't really have a plan and I just want my option open if I feel like escaping winter, then that's why I'm not going to Alaska this summer. Yeah, that's how that like works with Canadians. It's yeah, and then I don't wanna risk being in the US too much and then having to pay taxes in both countries because then none of this would be worth it if I had to do that. Um, but I mean, Alaska's low population density, so I imagine it's not that hard. If you're curious, like you just need to start early in the day and like don't be trying to find places to camp like right before dark or like right as you're tired. Like plan to get there and relax a bit before you cook dinner and have your night. And that way you have time to like poke around and just like go down side quests and just have lots of gas on hand. So, Blue says your hand drumming has gotten really good. Thank you. Loved it with the fire and the Aurora Borealis. Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. I've been drumming since basically like late December. So it's pretty new to me. I'm just making it up and sometimes it goes well and I just put on my camera and I just record the sound. And so yeah, it's been really fun. So with the Aurora Borealis, I am parking strategically every night. Now I choose to park somewhere where I have an open view of the sky to the north in case it comes, so I can film it. So yeah, I'm being very, very strategic because I want to see it and I want to be able to share as much as I can capture with you. So yeah, it's not necessarily lucky. I'm definitely like watching the forecast, like the weather, the clouds, the aurora forecast, and then parking with a view that way. So I wasn't really expecting to see it when I did, but I was just up at the fire. I was about to go to bed and then it just started to pick up. So, um, Does my drum help when I'm feeling down? Absolutely. When I was having a really hard time, like, during that time in the last video, like, that kinda, like, all took place over, like, 3 weeks. That was, like, basically the only thing I did was, like, drum, hang out with Frank, spend a bit of time with a friend, and read, and I wanted to drum a lot. Yeah, it just always makes me feel really good. It also, actually gets my heart rate, like, way up. Like, I have this Fitbit now, is this thing I've been wearing since spring, and, I'll, like, earn zone minutes drumming because like, my heart rate gets so elevated, but, like, I don't get short of breath. Like, it's I feel really relaxed, but then it counts as exercise. I mean, at times I've drummed, like, 4 kilometers, so yeah, it's kinda interesting. Yeah, so oh, yeah, so, yes, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to the US. I don't even know if I'm going to the US this winter. I don't know what I'm doing after September. Story of this live stream. I am, when I leave here, gonna go hang out with Flossie. Of course, we'll do something fun. We've talked about some ideas, but I'm not gonna spoil them. So, yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Rescue Dog Treats asks, "Can I buy land in the US?" Yeah, that's the thing, like, if I was an American citizen, land in the US is way, way cheaper. Maybe not the land that I have in mind. It would still be cheaper there than in Canada, but, I feel like that's, like, a huge world of, like, buying land in a foreign country and all of that. Like, it just feels really stressful, and I want somewhere that, if I don't know, I get really sick or I get injured or something happens, that I can be there all year round. And as a Canadian citizen, I have a time limit in the US, and I don't want to become an American citizen. So, yeah, it's just saving up to buy in Canada, or like meeting somebody who values selling their land to the right person as opposed to for the most amount of money, and then like working something out like through that. Oh, I was asked. Arnie wants to know, you did not miss the answer to will Frank guard the van? I didn't see the question. You have Frank guards the van. He's a guard dog. Like, nobody can come around without me knowing. He will bark. He has a very mean bark. When I lock the keys in my van and the guy has to come to like get them out, like Frank is like biting this glass. Yeah, he's like a vicious, scary guard dog, which is great. I'm not worried about somebody, like, breaking in or stealing my van because, like, in seems so mean, which I really, really appreciate. He's a great alarm and guard dog, so yeah, and Frank's doing great. He's sleeping. He had so many treats already, so he's snoring. He's passed out. And I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I'm gonna make a special video talking about my drum, and just probably like, yeah, just talk all about it, like where I got it, like how I went about the process of choosing it, and then just do like a little freestyle session. I'm gonna put that up as a public post on Patreon. So I do have the ability to make posts that are viewable for everyone. So you can go there and you can sign up, and then you'll get notifications when I make those posts, and it doesn't cost you anything. So if you like, I maybe make like one public post a month, and yeah, so that'll be that. I'll post that there because it just wouldn't perform well on my channel, and then it would hurt there's algorithm stuff. So that's why I'm going to put it there, and then that way I can just direct people to go watch it there. So live life, Lori. You need to find an American partner to buy a place down there with. Yeah, that would be convenient, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I just like, dating's I've talked about this before, but dating's just like not it's not like an appealing thing. It's not like a goal of mine. So I'd have to just like run into somebody, which I mean, I really go out of my way to avoid people. So yeah. um, yeah. Would I like to buy land in BC, Alberta, maybe the Yukon? I would preferably like to buy land in BC because I have born and raised BC citizen my entire life. That makes it really easy. Um, and I would be willing to buy in the Yukon. I think it's actually easier to buy land in the Yukon, but I don't think right now that I would go east, although I've never gone east. So maybe if I go visit, I would like it, but like all my friends and family are in the West. So yeah, I would probably buy BC preferably or the Yukon. And remote, like on a dirt road, off a dirt road. Like I'm not gonna buy in town. Like I'm gonna buy something so remote that even if I have neighbors, I won't be able to hear them. Yeah. Um, all in all, what did you spend on gas going all the way up? So that would have been about 3 tanks for me, and a tank is 120 liters, and gas was like, so let's say like 400 liters at an average of like 220 a liter. So like $880 round trip, which is a lot if you're doing it in a week, but if you're spending 5 weeks, then it's pretty cheap. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Mike's still around, he can check my math. But yeah, and yeah, I've mentioned this. I will go to the east coast of Canada someday in my van and in the US on foot. So, yeah, okay, lots of comments about the drum. We can have a whole discussion about that when I put the Patreon video. Um, yeah. Maybe I could buy land in Nova Scotia like everyone else. I don't know. I've never been there, so, um, but I think the Canada, like southern BC has like much milder winters, but also a ton of people now. Canada's growing at a rate of about 1 million people per year, and we only currently have 40 million people in Canada. When I moved into a van, we had about 30 or 33 million people. So Canada has increased in population significantly in the time I've lived in a van, and I am feeling it. Oh, underscore asked, juicy question. Are you still friends with Troy? No, I have not talked to him since that ended. And I am fine with that. So, um, yes. Okay. Get the comments. Do. Would you live in the Yukon during the winter or just use it as a home base during the good weather? I have a dream of spending a winter up here in like a cabin, keeping the wood stove going, having a pot of soup on, candlelight, doing yoga, reading, and writing books. Like, I would love to spend every winter in hibernation mode, like in a moss-covered tiny house, just pouring rain, or like in the north in the snow and just writing and being a soup monster. It's not the most fun for Frank. So when he was younger, we used to get out in the rain, but now that he's old, like he doesn't want to do it. And then I get, so I just feel like that's maybe a life like after Frank. I don't really know. But if I were like went into town next week and somebody's like got talking to me and was like, "Hey, I have this cabin. You can just stay there if you want. You just have to deal with the wood." Like I might very well consider it. So yeah, I am from going south last winter because I didn't get enough downtime. Um, I still crave like since last summer. So now like 14, 15, 16 months, I've been craving like a hibernation season, especially like rain on the roof. And because like summer ended last year and then it just kind of like went to freezing and Squamish, and then I went south. I didn't really have like the kind of introspective winter hibernation time that I was craving. So we have we got Mike with the math. There we go. I was pretty close. I don't remember what I said. I think I said either 800 or 880, but yeah, Mike's there with the with the gas math. So yeah. And then I don't know. That might not mean anything to most of you guys because different currency, but yeah. gas is cheaper in the US than here, that's for sure, pretty much everywhere. So, um, let's see, I saw you had so many problems with mosquitoes and such. Is this normal? Was this a normal year? Um, Apparently last year was worse, but when I was in Inuvik, the locals I talked to said it was exceptionally bad. So, it's actually in the Arctic, it's like, just expect it that if it's not freezing, expect it to be horrible and be prepared for it to be the worst. So, it's just, yeah, it's notorious. And then, yeah, some years are worse. Sometimes it's, like, bad in select areas, but, yeah, the Dempster, there's a lot of water, a lot of that, like, it was just bad. Um Let's see. Sometimes the chat just, like, goes it just I'm reading and then it's just gone, so well, it's not gone, it's just up. Um, Tammy, I do not Tammy's, wondering if anyone can help with Patreon. Just send me an email with what questions you have to, like, my email address is below in all my normal videos, and I'll see if I can help you out with that, so, Flossie says, "You and me both!" With this delay? Yes, sure. Uh, um, okay. Jennifer asks, "Can you explain what Patreon is, does, and why there's question?" Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll just do this real quick. So Patreon is like a member. It's like a subscription social media feed. So it's like a member funding platform. It's not like crowdfunding like a GoFundMe or something like that. It is just a way that people can support their favorite creators, and there's all different types of creators on Patreon. And then in exchange, like, we post stuff. So actually, I really like posting on Patreon. So I write like kind of like blog posts, like what I'm up to with photos, or I make like aerial exclusive videos with like a lot of my drone footage that you don't see. And so, yeah, you just kind of, it's like, say, like how you pay for Netflix or something to get content. On Patreon, you can just sign up to support your favorite creators, which is what makes this a sustainable income for me and has allowed me to upgrade all my gear and to make these nice videos. And yeah, and then it's just like kind of like a smaller community. So I actually am a patron ambassador, so I can be part of developing the platform. And so my patrons, we have early access to like a community chat that we've had for a couple months now, and it's been fun. So sometimes I do little guessing games there. But yeah, this is the short of that. That's what Patreon is. It's kind of like a private feed. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, um, do, do, do. What made me go Lori asked, "What made me go vegan?" And well, I don't have a refrigerator, so it just kind of I just ended up being mostly vegan just by way of, like, my van, and then, I started watching YouTube, like, years ago, and the first creators I found were kinda, like, vegan creators, and so I decided just to try it for a month, and I felt great, and so I went vegan for, like, 5 years, and then now, like, I am opportunistic. Like, I'll eat stuff if it's free, and sometimes I eat a bit of, like, oysters or fish, and I've actually had a lot less joint pain since doing that, so, yeah, it's kind of, like, something I am torn with inside, but I just had too many medical people be like, "With your condition, you need to eat this," so, um okay, all drum questions I'm gonna answer in that video I talked about with that. Toby keeps asking about my relationship with my dad. I'm not talking about that. I'm just gonna just so I don't have to keep seeing these questions. I just yeah. Do, do. Okay, thank you to the patrons who are singing my praises. I really appreciate that. So, yeah. Christine Robertson. How do I get my photography out into the world? I don't know. I have taken photos since I was about 4 years old, and I shared them on Flickr when that was a thing, and then I started sharing them on Instagram, and then Instagram's no longer a photo sharing platform. And I didn't have it in me to, like, hustle photography-wise, which is why I chose video as a way of turning it into an income, so I don't really know. Are there frogs in the Arctic? Um, I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna guess no. But I don't actually know, like, I'm just guessing that there's no frogs or lizards or snakes, but there's spiders. That's a fun question. I don't think there is. Uh, yeah, so frogs. I'm gonna search that. We're gonna find out, is there frogs in the Arctic? I bet you they would be beefy. I bet you they'd be beefy frogs. Okay, there are wood frogs are the only frogs that live north of the Arctic Circle. Adults usually live in woodlands and lay eggs in vernal ponds. During winter, they take shelter in leaf litter. There we go. There's wood frogs in the Arctic. So there is the Arctic Circle, which is defined by like the Arctic Circle is the southernmost point, which on the summer solstice the sun doesn't set, and on the winter solstice the sun doesn't rise. So that's based on like the Earth's orbit and like astronomy and stuff. But then there's the tree line, and that doesn't necessarily correlate to the Arctic Circle because of like different ice and like water bodies and then like cold air flows. So like Hudson Bay comes way south of the Arctic Circle, but it's still an Arctic environment because of like the cold air that comes down and like being treeless. So like land, like ecologically, when people think of the Arctic, they tend to think of tundra. And then they also think of the Arctic in terms of like the sun. But so there's parts even above the Arctic Circle where I went, like where there'd be like a low point with like water and there'd be some trees because any trees up above, like the wind gets so heinous, it just like they can't take root. So yeah, it's like it's like quite varied. And so yeah, like the Arctic environment like comes way south on the east coast of Canada, whereas like further west you have to go more north to get into it. I don't know. Hopefully that kind of made sense. Um, yeah. Um, oh yeah. So okay. So Blue with the drum video. I'm gonna make an exclusive drum video that's gonna be a public post accessible for free on Patreon. And I've been saying I'm gonna do it for a little while, but I had some hard times, as you know, and so now I'm getting back up to it. Beverly suggests set up my own website to feature and sell my photography. I have thought about this a lot. I have done some research into it. I just it's just hard because I would never see the prints. It's the same thing with merch. Is like I would set everything up and I could get a test, but every single item that's printed and sent to you, I would not see. So I can't do quality control. And so I'm just having a hard time with that. Have I ever come across Chrome while in BC? Just when I did the tour before starting this channel, or as I started this channel, I haven't bumped into him. I have seen Emmy's van in Squamish often, but I've never seen her, and I'm not going to go knocking on her van. So yeah, I don't really just like run into people, and then like I don't really run into any YouTubers I know of, and then like even other van people, like generally like they're not quite as social. Like when it was less of us, we were more likely to talk to each other. And like now there's just like so many people on the road that like everyone just kind of ignores each other unless you're like at the laundromat. So I have a lot of good conversations at laundromats, calendars, yeah, consideration. I need to like have a space where I can, I don't know, like talk about those types of things because I don't really know what people want, but calendars is something I could do. It's also something I could ship from the van. Um, yeah. So what kind of dog is Frank? Frank was a rescue, but he is a kettle dog mix. And I never bothered to look into the mix, and I don't care because he is perfect. How did I come up with the name Tideline to Alpine? Oh, so first summer after university, I went to work in northern BC in coal exploration because I used to be in geology and I really missed the coast. So when I came back, I got my first foot tattoo, which is like mountains and arbutus tree. Um, and then a couple years later on the other foot, I got like kelp and sea urchins and stuff. And so the name came from my feet tattoos, but also because living on the island, like you go to the beach one day, you go on the alpine the next. And so it just like, it, yeah, just like all my adventures, like my adventures were so varied. I think I selected the name in like 2010. I might have started using it. I've been using it for a long time. So when I made a channel, that just made sense. But yeah, I've had like my website up for a long time and my whole time on Instagram, I've been tied to Alpine. So yeah. Okay. So, ooh, Toby, have you ever seen any UFO or like, yeah, I have UFO stories and I've actually been thinking of making just a little story video like I did with the Sasquatch and just talking about the um, aerial phenomenon I've seen because I am out here with a lot of dark skies. I spend a lot of time looking at the sky and I've seen some weird things. I've never seen aliens, but I've seen some things that my logical and scientific brain cannot make sense of. Um, do I ever go to van life meetups? Nope. Nope, I do not go to crowds of van people, and as much as I would like to meet more of you guys, it feels really daunting to think of making my own meetup because I just don't do well with more than one person talking to me at a time, and I considered doing one in Whitehorse, but, like, I feel like I must have met everyone in Whitehorse who knows me, like, the amount of people that have come up to me, so, yeah. I don't know, I feel like there's no point doing a meetup in Whitehorse now because I think I mean, I can't imagine there's that many more people there that know me that I haven't already met. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we have some people who want the UFO video. So, yeah, maybe, I will do that. Record that. It's a short story to tell, so but, yeah. Um, okay, I see a suggestion about printing and shipping photos from my van. I cannot keep photos safe in here, not like prints and variety and stuff, like, it's just, a lot of cost overhead, and then I just don't have anywhere to store it, so okay, yeah. Oh, so f a lot of okay, I will make the UFO video, okay, I'll make the UFO video. That Sasquatch video did really well at first, and then it did really bad, but then it, like, got into the Sasquatch world, and it literally gets, like, 2 to 300 views every single week. Like, the views haven't like, they went up, they went down, they went up, and then they reached this, like, steady point, and every month, it is probably the top video that wasn't put out that month. It's been wild. Like, the Sasquatch people, like, they eat up everything. They're really into it, so, yeah, yeah, it's I don't even know what to say about it. Yeah, so, okay. Flossy people love UFOs. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, okay? We can it'll happen. It'll be like an extra video, like, instead of on top of my normal vlogs. So yeah, I wish I had more, like, weird phenomenon stories, but maybe stuff that, like, seems normal to me would be weird to other people, but yeah. Um, yeah, it's been fun. So okay, I have been live streaming for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna call it at 7, if not a little sooner. We'll see if any other questions come up. But yeah, it's been really fun, guys. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for all the super chats. That was really nice. I really appreciate it. Land fund starting. So yeah, I'll put the try to start a savings for that, especially now that Frank is doing so well. There's always questions about Frank. I feel like every day somebody asks how Frank is doing. Frank is doing really, really well. And when he's not, and I have like updates to share, like, I will share that when I feel ready, but he's doing really well right now. I put him on a medication called Librela. I will type it in the chat. And it might have a different brand name in the US, but he gets it once a month, and it was really, really helpful. And he's walking around. Like the other day, I put him outside to have his morning pee, and I turned around to do something, and then he was gone. And I freaked out because I'm so used to him always being like right in sight because he couldn't really walk anywhere. And he'd just gone like 100 meters, like just sniffing. Like when he was young, he used to disappear for like up to like 20 minutes. So it's great. Like he's enjoying walking around camp and sniffing more. And yeah, just like coming on like micro outings with me on foot. So we're still gonna do lots of chariot rides, but yeah, he's doing really, really well. And so yeah, I mean, I will update if something serious comes up, but because he's doing well, I feel like he's also gotten a bit more affordable than like the big vet visits that kept happening. So yeah, maybe I can start saving for land, which is that's the full circle there. So yeah, okay. So thank you everybody so much. Thank you to Dana and Flossie for moderating. If you don't know who Flossie is one of my closest friends, and we've done a bunch of videos together. So you should check out their channel as well. Um, and then, like if you can find in my videos and their videos, like we got stuck on this muddy hill and it was just insane. I know some of you watching will remember that mud hill on the Gulf Island. So yeah, and thank you to Dana, has been one of our longest, biggest fans. So I really appreciate the both of you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the live stream, all your comments. If I didn't answer your question, I'm really sorry. But I appreciate you being here, and hopefully you guys got the information you wanted about the Dempster. I will make a UFO video, and yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you, Joan Marie. Thank you so much. Love all the content. Thank you. I do have an ambient channel, so I'm posting on there semi-regularly again. So if you want something that's just relaxing, and I might start adding, I said goodbye, and then this is like, I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say goodbye again. But I'm considering adding drumming with aerial visuals and stuff to my ambient channel. So maybe go there and comment if that's something you want. Let me know if you would like drumming on the ambient channel. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna go. We're gonna do a little countdown. I'm so bad at goodbyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.